Okay, this section is about the social login. The social login means how we can use the social media ID for login. So I will explain what is the social login and then how we can connect with the social app, and then with the example, I will explain this one. So you will learn about the social login, and then there are some apps. Maybe I will just use the general app like Google. You can also use Facebook, GitHub, but maybe Facebook, they already have limitation. For GitHub, I think it's still possible. So we are going to create a generic view with the existing template. So the social login means we are going to connect with existing app, or we are going to connect with social media, and we can extract what are the important key in the social media. For example, if I'm in my current system, I want to get so someone who already have the ID of Facebook or Google or Twitter or other partners, so they can just use the existing ID, and then you can connect to this app code. We can verify what are the API, what is the ID, and what is the secret key, so it can access to our system. So we will use what they call as the social authorization app. And in Django, we have this one, social auth app Django. So this social auth app Django, it can be applied to app content. It can be also applied to IIS. It is the Internet Information Service. And we can also use the OAuth tokens, and we can also use the app block. So I'm just using the OAuth tokens for this example. So the OAuth token means we are giving a token. So nowadays, people will use this token to verify your ID or your social media. It means the client application, you need to request the token. So what we are going to learn today is we need to request a token. After you request a token, you will have the token and you will put it into the client application. After you have this client application token, so whenever you connect to a system or API, so we need to check or we need to validate the token. If the token is valid, then you can continue to access the API. If you already access the API, then you can get any data that you want. In Naver, in Kakao, they use this kind of mechanism. So the first, let's do with the social login by installation. Okay. So to implement the social login with Google, Facebook, and GitHub. Okay. So as far as I know, they have the connection to these three, but for the other social media like Kakao or Naver, you need to find what are the proper apps or what is the proper library. Okay. So let's run this one. Let's run this one in the terminal. So it will install the required library for this social media. And let's make a new project. So maybe it is good to have a new project because now the project is too complicated, I guess. Okay. So we have a lot of apps and there's too many dependencies. So I will make a new project. And let's make the name app with social, or you can make any name. So I will create a Django project, and the name is app with social. Okay. And then yeah, I use this interpreter. The settings, I will just put it as the default like this, and then I will create it. Okay. For this example, I will just make it very simple of the function. So I make two functions. So let's create view.py. Let's make it in the this directory app with social. Let's make views.py and then copy and paste. So I would like to make only two functions. The first is home. So whenever you start your Django, then it will go to home and then log out. So if it is log out, then you will do the log out and then you go to the original link. Next, let's modify the urls.py. I will modify this urls.py. So this is the original urls.py. So I will modify it with this code. If you look at this one, I have the admin, and then I have login, I have logout, and I have the out authorization. So this authorization, I will connect to the social Django.url. So this social Django.url, they already specified some URLs. Okay. So this is some of the this use the patterns that they have, okay, for the authentication. So we need to define how to connect to this social app. Yeah. Now we need to make sure that the social Django or this app is available in the setting. So you can go to the setting, and then in the install apps, you need to put the social Django. So if you run the social media ID, yeah, you need to have this app in the install app. Okay. Next is we need to define what is the processor whenever we connect to the social Django. So this is the processor. Okay, you need to put this one into the templates. Okay. So you know in the templates in the settings.py, okay, in the templates it is about how we can access the folder templates. So this is a kind of backend, okay. And we have the options. The option means yeah we want to access the Django, and then yeah we want to connect to the messages, authorization request, and we need to add two more. The first is we need to connect to the social Django backend, and we need to connect to the social Django login redirect. After I have those templates, now I need to create this authentication. This authentication means I need to make sure that I would like to connect to one of the application. For example, I need to connect to Google. Then yeah, I need to call what is the Google authorization. If I need to connect to Facebook, then I need to call what is the authorization of Facebook. If I use GitHub, then I need to call what is the authorization of GitHub. So they have different authorization. So let's say I'm just using the in the last part. So previously Google used the Google Open ID for Google authentication, but now they use the Open ID and the Google OAuth 2. For the GitHub, they use this one, the GitHub OAuth 2. For the Facebook, I think they already modified. Okay. So there's many limitations with Facebook. So I don't want to deal with the Facebook now. Let's just use the Google. And then we need to make sure that the social media will be available in Google API. So because I'm going to use the Google, so in Google API, so there might be a possibility of error if you are joining the Google Plus. So I'm not sure if you know the Google Plus, but Google Plus is a kind of social media that Google developed, but it is not that success. So it is still available in the Google, but they are not using this Google Plus anymore for the social media. But we need to access this one in order to align with the Google ID. So I'm not sure if you can get error message, but let's try to avoid the error by using this line. So this line you can put at the end of the settings. So this line means we are going to access the social authorization Google. So it is true. And what we are going to access later is the user info email and the user info profile. And then to avoid the error from the Google Plus, so we also need to make sure about this one. So in the Google Plus, we can have the login, and then we can again get the email and profile. So the Google OAuth 2 use the deprecated, which is true, and the Google Plus also need to be true. So this is to connect to the API of the Google and the Google Plus. And the last one in the settings, we need to know what is the redirect URL. The meaning by the redirect URL is whenever you finish with your login, so you need to redirect it. In this case, if I want to redirect the logout, so I will just go to home. Where is home? The home you can see from the URL. Okay, home is from the function home. So you can go to the views.py. You will see that home is calling the index.html. So we have to fill this one. We need to fill in the client ID key and the client secret key. So this should be from your social media. Why do you need this one? So it is the same like this secret key. So this secret key is unique. My secret key is not the same with your secret key. So we need to get also the secret key from the Google, because Google want to know who give this permission, who get the access. Okay, so that's how we can finish the step in the pie chart. Now it is a little bit complicated. We need to get the client key and the secret key from the Google. In this case, you need to go to the developer side. Because we are using Google, then we go to the developer side from Google. If you use your Net Kakao or use your Naver, then you can access the developer site from that company. So each social application, they will provide the client app key and the secret key. So let's see. Let's use Google. For this SNS login, it is necessary to generate the app ID and the app secret. You can go to this link. Okay, so they are actually my ID already registered in the Google. So my first page will be different with yours. Okay. So let's see. Please log in using your Google ID. I hope you have your Google ID. Anybody who have no Google ID? Then you can access to the Google ID. Okay. If you are the first time to access this developer, you need to agree. You need to agree with the term of service. Okay, so you need to agree, and then after you agree, then you can continue. If you don't agree, you cannot continue. Okay. And after you finish with your agreement, you will have the first page like this one. Okay. The page will be different from my page because I already have several projects. If you are the first time to create this one, you will have no project. And then you need to make a new project or you need to create the project. So let's see if I'm using this one. Yeah, because I already have several projects. So in your case, click the new project. So I will also create the new project. They will create the project name automatically. You can define what is your project name. Let's say my project name is to make it distinct with the other. Let me make my project name is 88. Okay, 6 times 8888. Maybe okay, 8 times. It's better. And then the organization. You can define your organization, but yeah, you can just skip. If you are using the Google gmail.com, they will ask your organization name. But if you use hub.ac.kr, I think they will directly show Hankook University of Foreign Studies. So you can just create. Because I already have all the settings, so I can just create and finish. But for you, you need to enable the API. What is this enable API? So as I mentioned to you, the Google have one social media, which is the Google Plus. Okay. So whenever you connect to the Google ID, you need to make this Google Plus API as enabled. Because I already did this one, I'm not sure if I can do more, but you can go to enable API. Here, let me select this project. Okay. So make sure that the project name that you just created appears in this. And then you can enable the API. Once you connect or once you click the enable API, you will see there will be many API from Google that you can access. So for example, if you want to use the Mac for Android, then you can click this one. If you use the Mac for iOS, you can use this one. If you use maps for the JavaScript, then you can use this map, and so on. So at this moment, they provide it for free with some limitation. So you can access, like, maybe you want to use the natural language API. You use the dialog flow. So this is the machine learning API. The Google Workspace, they also have the Google Drive, Google Calendar, and etc. So you can see here for the social API, they have the Google Plus API, Blogger, Google Plus domain, and etc. So you can click on this Google Plus API, and then you can click enable. So if it is enabled, then it means you can connect to your Google ID, and you can use also in your social media login. So if you finish, maybe you can just close this one, set up photo alerts. So here you can see there's a quota. It means if you exceed this quota, you need to pick. But I think we are not using a lot of data at this moment. Like this one, 1,000 limit per query per day is 10,000. Okay, so we are not using those much. So we can just use for free. After we have this Google Plus, now we need to set up the credential. The credential means I want to create the client ID and the client secret. So if I look at this one, you can see on the left, you can see the credential. So if you click this credential, then you will see three kind of parts: API, OAuth 2, and service account. So the API is for giving API to another person to access the Google. But what we are going to do is to make ID. So this ID is unique for you only and for your application. And for this one, okay, we need to create a credential. And when you create the credentials, make sure that you choose the OAuth client ID. So let me click this one. This is the create credential. I will create this one and then choose the OAuth client ID. So here there is a message. To create an OAuth client ID, you must first configure your consent screen. You can just configure this consent screen, and then they will ask you what is the consent screen. So you need to choose how you want to configure and register your app, including your target users. So you can only associate one app with your project. So if it is internal, then means you may use it for only half or your organization. But if it is external, then anybody can access. Because I'm going to create for the external, you can just click external and then create. So this app information is necessary. Okay, the app information is necessary. What is the meaning by app information? So this app information is about what would be the app for your project. Okay. For example, I will just put the testing. Okay. And then they want to know what is the email that the administrator. So in this case, it is my email. You can define your logo, but it is not required. And then the other thing, you can leave it because it is not necessary. After you finish with the required information like the app name and the email, so you can save and continue. So you can save and continue the last part of this page. Oh, I need to add my another email. So I can go to the next stage, which is the scope. What is the scope? So usually the API need to know what is the access. For example, whether it is non-sensitive or sensitive. Sometimes if it is sensitive, it is about to access the user private data. So if it is sensitive, you need to specify it, because if you don't specify this one, there will be some kind of law or regulation that you need to face any law restriction if you don't specify the sensitive one. Or if it is restricted, so it is about the highly sensitive user data. But because this is just for our experiment, I think we don't need to specify this one. Just save and continue. And then we need to specify the user. Who will be the user of this app? So this kind of user, not yet. I think because this one is, you just put it as empty, I think that will be okay. So the summary is, okay, this app will be, will have name testing, and then the support email is this email. And then you can just back to the dashboard. So you will have the first testing app. Okay, after you have this testing app, now you can see this one. Your token grant rate is 7 days. And you will see how many people who can access to your app, and then they will see based on this graph. So if it is more than 10,000, then I think they will give you some warning. Okay, so after you finish with the first app, so you can do again. So make the credential again. So you can go to the credential again and then create the credential, and then create the all client ID. Now you need to verify what is the application type. whether it is web or Android or Chrome extension, or it is from the iOS, or it is for TV or limited input device, or it is for the desktop app, or it is for the universal Windows platform. Because I know that my application is web, so I can just define the web. And then you need to modify some part. In this case, I need to find out where is the authorized JavaScript. So I specify here. Okay, when you create the web application, now you need to specify what is the link that you use for your app. And then what is the redirect unified resource identifier for your app. Okay. So let's use these two. Because we are not having any link, okay, we are not publishing our website in any official website. We will just use the local file, localhost for the origin URI, and then for the redirect, we will use this one. So I will use this one for the origin URI. This is the origin. And then for the redirect, I will use this one. Okay, so you need to fill in the URI one, which is the origin, and then you need to fill in the redirect URI, which is this one. So this one means if we complete the Google authorization, then we need to go to this link. After we finish with these two, after you specify the application type and the name, yeah, you can put any name here. So let's create. So you will see that in your OAuth client, now you will see the client ID and the client secret. So you can use this one for your application. How you can use this one? So you can download the JSON. So they provide the JSON, or you can copy. So if you have, let's say, okay, I click OK here, then you will see that this link is shown. It means you will have the first client ID. If you click this one, if you click on the web client, then you will see the client secret and the client ID. Now, let's get back to the setting 31. In the social out Google OAuth key, we need to paste the client ID. And then the secret, we need to paste the client secret. So you can just copy and paste this one. This is the client ID. Okay, so I will copy and put this one into the key. So this will be the key from my ID in Google. And then the second one is the client secret. So I can copy this one, and this one will be the client secret. Okay, after I have this one, let's make the index.html. So I will create the index.html in the template. Okay, so in the index.html, there are two pages. Okay. So there are two pages. Here is the next page. Now I would like to run this one. So before I run, I would like to close this Google app. Okay, I will sign out. Now I will check. Yeah, so this is the first page, and I would like to log in with Google. Oh. No substable generalization. Ah. I think before you do this one, you need to do the migrate. Okay, you know how to do the migrate. You can go to tool, you can go to the manage.py, and then you can type migrate. So with the migrate, you will make the authorization. Okay, let's see. Okay. So after you migrate, you will see that it can connect to this Google authorization. Okay, I will go to my account. Then they will check. I know this is my account, and then I will connect with the email address, and then it can go to my web. Okay. So it is a little bit long. Okay. It's a long step because Google needs to make sure about the security and the privacy. So if you finish with this one, you can log out. Then you will go to the login page again. But before that one, if you log in again, then it is automatically go to your account. Okay, so you need to log out from the Google ID. Okay, it is to make sure that everything is logged out, and then it goes back to this one. So if you go back, log out, and then you need to log in again. So if you log in again, then yeah, you need to get the access. Okay, so we can access our web using this social login. Okay. Okay, that's about the social login. Now I will help you if you have any problems with your social login.